Hello everyone there. This lecture is related to Chaucer's art of characterization in the prologue to the Canterbury Tales. First, I have mentioned here a short definition of characterization. The process of creation, description, and development of a character through a narrative or literary work is called characterization. As you know, the Shakespeare was a great master in the delineation of his characters, but after him, we can rank Chaucer as a great master in the portrayal of his lucid and vivid characters. Now, here I have mentioned some of the points which are related to Chaucer's art of characterization. One by one, I am going to describe these points. Chaucer presented a veritable picture gallery of the 14th century England, means that he presented a very minute and comprehensive picture of the society in which he was living. Now, this thing is very important to mention here that there were 32 characters in the prologue to the Canterbury Tales because Chaucer himself tells us in the 24th line that there were 29 characters. But we know when Chaucer and the host joined the procession, they became 31 characters. Then afterwards, there was another character, the canon's yeoman, who joined this procession or this pilgrimage. So total there were 32 characters. That is the reason that John Dryden remarked, here is Gore's plenty, means there are so many characters. Now, all of these characters can be divided into different social classes and groups. There were three military characters, knight, squire, and yeoman. The knight was the most prestigious character, and the squire was the son of the knight. And all of these two characters were accompanied by yeomen. There were seven ecclesiastical characters, the prioress, who was the head of her nuns, the friar, who used to beg for the poor people, the monk, who was the head of his monastery, the parson, who used to seek salvation, the clerk, who was the student of philosophy, the summoner, who used to summon or call people towards God for confessing their sins, the pardoner, who used to grant people pardons. Now, all of the characters can be divided into different social classes. For example, upper or noble class, middle class, lower class. In the upper or noble class, we can include these two characters, the knight and the squire, because these characters belong to the chivalric and aristocratic society. In the time of Chaucer, there was an uprising of a new social class, and that was the middle class. These people actually gained social status and money through their different trades. And in this class, we can include so many characters like merchant, the physician, or the wife of Bath, the man of law, five crafts worker like haberdasher, weaver, tapestry maker, dryer, and reaver, miller, manciple. So all of these characters can be included in the middle class. Now, the lower class was represented by plowman, who was a farm laborer. Now, the next point is that Chaucer's characters are very lucid and vivid. This thing is very important to understand because all of the characters of Chaucer, they were belonging to real life. They were lifelike. They were not conventional Petrarchan lovers or epic heroes who were performing great deeds of great honor in some battle. No, these characters were actually belonging to real life. So that is why that we call them lucid and vivid characters. Now, in the art of characterization, there was also a blend of realism because Chaucer exposes their follies, absurdities, their hypocrisies, their monetary greed. So, we come to know that all of the characters are presented in a very realistic way. Each character is individual, means that each character was based on the fundamental nature of human beings. Now, the next point is very important to understand because Chaucer reveals his characters through descriptions. These descriptions include appearance. For example, when Chaucer talks about the knight, he says that the knight was wearing a tunic and it was rust stained, which shows us that maybe he was returning from some battle. Now, Chaucer also reveals his characters through their social status. The knight was the most prestigious character, most respectable character in all the Canterbury Tales, and the wife of Bath was the most sociable lady. She had connections with so many people of the town. Then Chaucer also reveals his characters through their personal belongings. Like he talks about their swords, their hunting arrows, their daggers, their personal books, their necklace, and through these things he reveals the different traits of his characters. Then he talks about their profession, their attire, conduct, language. For example, the prioress used to speak French language, which was a fashionable trend of that time. And then he reveals about their cultures, their backgrounds, etc. Now, if we read the prologue to the Canterbury Tales, we come to know that Chaucer was gifted or blessed with acute power of observation. He used to see people as they were in their real life. He possesses this art that he could easily portray his characters in such a way as he could see them, as he see them in their everyday life. Chaucer's art of characterization is lighted by humor. Now, if you read prologue to the Canterbury Tales, you will at times you will laugh at the funny remarks of Chaucer because all of the characters have been described in a very humorous way. Now, Chaucer often there gives us some hints of gentle and mild style. His satire is never bitter because he sugarcoats in such a way that it becomes mild and gentle style. Then Chaucer's tone also becomes sometimes ironical. He is also ironical sometimes in his art of characterization. For example, when he talks about the friar, he says that the friar was a person who had to beg for the poor people, but he had more connections with the ladies of the town. So we come to know that here his tone becomes a little bit ironical. Then sometimes he also conveys us some type of message, like he conveys the message through his characterization. For example, when he portrays the character of Parson, he tells us that he is the most idealistic character because he used to seek salvation, and his main purpose to join this pilgrimage was to help people. So through his art of characterization here, he is conveying the message that how a religious figure or how a clergyman should be, because other clergymen were not like this. Then Chaucer's characters are very well-known characters. They are famous in all over the literature. Knight, prioress, wife of Bath, you will read about these characters everywhere. So these are very famous, very memorable characters. Then Social also unmasks the social and religious state of his time. I have already talked about this, that the religious state of that time was very corrupted because all of the religious figures of that time had fallen a prey to degeneration and corruption. So, through his art of characterization, Chaucer also exposes the religious state of his time. Now, the next point is very important to understand because objective delineation. Chaucer is very objective in his delineation of his characters, and he is free from all prejudice. He never mixes his own likes, dislikes, his opinions, his viewpoints, his prejudice. His characters are free from all type of prejudice or his objective delineation. Chaucer's characters are both individuals and types. Now, this means, for example, if you take the character of the knight, you see that he was belonging to chivalric class, and he was representing the aristocrat people. But at the same time, we come to know that he was very gentle, very meek, very kind in his manner. So all of the characters are both individuals and types. Now, in the end, I have written here a definition. Chaucer's characters are not mere phantoms of the brain, means that they were not belonging to some illusionary world, but real human beings. They are real human beings, as you will see, as you will encounter in your daily life, and types true to the likeness of whole classes of men and women. So, in the end, I would like to say that Chaucer's art of characterization is very superb and unique, because in his delineation of his characters he draws such kind of characters that they leave very deep and long lasting impression on our mind and soul, and in giving details we feel that these characters are alive in front of our eyes, we can see them. So this was the end of this presentation. I hope that you liked it.